is good, you guys? Cruz here, back again breaking down another beat for you today. I know I went over this in a couple other videos before, but I'm going into more detail today about simplicity. I think it's really important, especially if you're building something for an artist or a songwriter. It's really important to have a very simple but catchy foundation. Really going to show you guys what I do to be simple but effective. Sometimes you can just make something real simple, but it's just not catchy. It's just not catching the ear of people. So I pulled up this beat here today. I think it serves a really good example of the message I'm trying to convey. It's going to be really simple, but at the same time, it's not going to sound simple. It's going to sound like there's a lot going on. That's kind of what I try to do in every beat that I make. Every beat that I make, I feel is simple, but I'm just really layering a bunch of things to complement my foundation to make everything sound full. If you can, real quick, before we jump into the video here, please leave me a thumbs up. It would mean a lot for me, as well as make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I'm doing these videos every single Sunday. So with that being said, let's jump in and see how I make my beats simple but effective. So as you can see, starting off there, that's like crazy simple. It's only like 4 notes that I'm hitting. It's really repetitive, super simple. And starting out, that's my foundation, and it doesn't sound like much right now, but we're gonna build onto that to complement that to make everything sound full and complete. So first, with the actual patch itself, this is In Memoriam 2 and Omnisphere. And effects wise for it, I have Crystallizer just a little bit. It's pretty intense with it all the way turned up. Some EQ, cut out the high end. I know this says movement, but this is definitely not movement. This is Echo Meltier. Again, another one of my favorite VSTs that I use. And some halftime gross beat here, but I don't have it all the way turned up. So it's just gonna sit behind without the melody fully being halftime. So let me play the melody now with everything, including the gross beat. As you can see, I take my time out to really mess with the patch, add effects, make it sound different. Rule number 1 for me is just to make the main foundation really sound different by adding effects and everything. And now everything we add from there is just to complement that. So once we got that done, it's pretty much downhill. Next thing I added on top of that was a pad here in Omnisphere, Vaporwave Tension. Just added some real simple chords to it just to add some progression to the melody that we have. So there goes the pad there. Now if you're noticing, the things that I'm starting to add aren't deterring away from the main melody. I'm not adding something so crazy that it's just going to take your attention off that bell melody that we had in the beginning. So again, real big emphasis. It's super important that what you're adding on top of your foundation does not deter the listener away from that main melody. Otherwise it's going to sound too clashed, it's just going to sound too crazy, and it's just not going to spark any ideas for the artist or songwriter. Next thing I got here is Living in Himalayas, patch in Omnisphere. It's a real cinematic effect. I'm a big fan of cinematic sounds. I like making my beats sound like they're movies. So this is just going to play on the downbeat right here just to give it, again, that cinematic feel. So that's almost all there is to it right there. Rewind a little bit for an intro to the beat. What I did was I turned the gross beat all the way up, so we got the halftime that's just playing, not the regular time melody. And on top of that, I added a bass to make it sound like dark and creepy. Let's see what it sounds like right here. that's how the beat starts out. Now it's just gonna drop right into the hook here. I don't really add much, just a layer of the main melody, which I'll show you right here. Layered it with reverse sfronzando strum. Don't even know how to pronounce that. But yeah, I just layered this with our main melody here. It's a little bit brighter, just makes it stand out a little bit more. Just added some reverb onto here. Echo Melt again, and Echo Boy Jr. for a little bit of delay here. So now all together, this is our main melody for the hook here. And that's all there is melodically to it. Super simple, but effective. Now we're going to go over the drums here, and this is where everything is going to come together. For some kick and clap here. Close this. Layered this here. Super important, layering your drums. Hi-hats. Open hat. Percussion hit. Snare fill. More close that roll. That's another thing that I do too to make it sound full. It's still super simple, but it sounds full, is I do a lot of layering of the drums. You know, I see a lot of like producers, they'll just add like kick, snare, hi-hat, maybe an open hat, and call it a day, you know? Me, I got, what do I got? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 layers of drums that I got going on. But at the same time, you got to be careful. Don't just be throwing drums in there, just forcing it in. As you can see, I got 3 different closed hats there, just 3 different hi-hats, and then I got the open hat, a couple different snares that are layering together just to make everything, you know, in unison. So that's key too. You want your drums to hit hard. Layering is super key. Spend more time on your drums. I spend a good amount of time on mine, probably more than I do the actual melody of the beat. So there goes our drums there. Let's play it from the top and see what it sounds like. So there it goes right there. That's the hook of the beat. Again, super simple, but it does sound really full. And then after that, it's pretty much just breaking everything down for the verse. Well, as you can see, that's all there is to it. I really hope this video gives you guys an insight of what goes on in my head when I'm building beats like this. Really just keeping them simple, layering the foundation, layering the drums, just to make everything stand out and overall be effective for the artist. Let me know what you think of the beat and how you feel about it. I'm also curious to hear your thoughts on my process of how I just did this. Let me know what your process is to keep things simple but effective. Real interested in hearing your guys' take on it. As I mentioned before, please leave a like for me on the video if you enjoyed it, if it helped you, if it inspired you. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel. Again, every Sunday I'm doing these videos non-stop. I appreciate you if you made it all the way through to the end of this video. It means a lot, but that's all for me for today. I will see you next Sunday. Peace.